I am at school, as you can tell by the big stack of things that I still have not fixed, have not put away. It is a Monday and it's actually the 14th, and I have read 2 books this month. 2. It's been a very, very busy month, but here we are doing my first check-in. I actually read these a week ago, but last week was so busy with day trips. You'll have seen a million pictures, I'm sure, or maybe the pictures are coming after this. I'm not sure how I'll do it, but lots and lots and lots and lots of trips last week. Super fun, exhausting. Hope to never have to do it again, but it was a lot of fun. 2 books. I read, see, now I'm gonna have to look them up. Give me a moment. The first book that I finished this month was Jessie Q. Sutanto's second Vera Wong book, Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. I will put an image of it here because I didn't bring it to school with me. And this was a delight. I love this series so much. I really enjoy Jessie Q. Sutanto's Aunties series. That's what I fell in love with. When I think about Jessie Q. Sutanto, I think of the Aunties series. And then I read Vera Wong last year, and she was so great. She's so great. And I think I was primed for it because of my previous year's experience with Miss Marple, which I really loved. And so when the second book came out, I pre-ordered it, and I was a little bit apprehensive when it arrived. I was like, probably it was a one-off. Like, I'm not a huge mystery reader. And I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved it more than I loved the first one, and I really loved the first one. So this one, I can't tell you a ton about it, but you have the basic setup where you have this little old Asian woman named Vera Wong, and she owns a tea shop, and in the first book, she helps solve a murder. Someone dies in her tea shop, and she helps to solve that. She doesn't always follow the law or the rules, but she gets it done. And that was all about like building this found family and just having this really great, or it just had this really great other set of like layers to it besides just the mystery. It was quite high stakes, but it was also very cozy just because it focused so much on building character and pulling all these characters together into this warm, tight-knit community that Vera is the glue of. And so I wasn't sure how this one was going to go because I felt like all the loose ends had been tied up in the other one. It was hinted at that it would be a series, but it also could have been a standalone. And so I wasn't sure where this one was going to go. And it was so good. It's even higher stakes in the mystery this time. Much higher stakes. I don't want to tell you anything about the mystery itself, but know that there is Vera, and there are glimpses of the people in the previous book because they're part of her world now, but she's also pulling in more people and creating other families and communities as well. And the stakes are much higher. It's a dire situation. I was brought to tears at least once, and we know that's not hard. We know that's not hard. Jenna cries. It's okay. But it was like genuine concern because the situation that's happening in this particular book is happening to people all around the world. And yeah, it's great. It's a great book. Highly recommend. Really loved it. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll feel all warm and cozy, and it's totally, very clearly set up for a third book this time. And in this third book, it's very clear that she's going overseas. So I think France. So Vera Wong in France. It'll be wonderful. The other book that I have finished reading is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I read this as soon as it arrived. As soon as that pre-order arrived, I read it. Actually, I think that Vera Wong and Say You'll Remember Me arrived as pre-orders on the same day, and I read them back to back. Yeah, I'm an Abby Jimenez fan now. Just for the Summer drew me in last year. I'd read the other 2 books in the Just for the Summer world, and I did not enjoy them, but there was enough there to make me think, maybe. And so I really loved the premise of Just for the Summer last year, and then I read it and it did not disappoint, and I loved it. It was laugh out loud funny. The banter was on point. I'm a banterer, I'm a flirter, and flirter? That's not a word. Flirty. And that flirting and that banter was perfect for me. I trepidatiously ordered Say You'll Remember Me because I was thinking I didn't like the other two books. And all three of the books that I'd read by her felt very different from each other. And so I ordered this one. I was a little bit trepidatious. It is very different. It's very, very much the same, but it's also very different. What I liked about it, well, that makes it sound like I didn't love it. I loved it. Let's just get that out there. What I liked about it was that the third act breakup actually happens in the first few chapters, and then you get to see what happens after that. And it's a story about people facing a lot of really difficult circumstances, realistic, difficult circumstances that could keep them apart if they choose to, but they love each other and they don't give up on each other. They make it work. They make the impossible work. They make long distance work. They make family issues work. They make money problems work. They make work problems work. And they support each other through it all. And it doesn't shy away from talking about how hard that is, but it also, they don't make it an option for themselves to not let it work because they know that they belong together. And it's just, or they choose to know that they belong together. Oh my gosh, a gigantic hawk just flew by. We have several of them. We've got some eagles and some hawks that live up here. And yeah, it's pretty cool. In fact, I have some footage of 3 hawks and a couple of other birds. I'll insert it right here. They are. They're very weird sounds.
Yeah, listen. Wait,
Yeah, that's taken just outside my classroom. That's not what I just saw, but I saw that a few days ago. Anyway, my brain is all over the place because I'm trying to do this quickly before other people come back to the office. But I loved this book. They commit to each other. They choose that it's going to work. They choose that these things aren't going to keep them from each other. And it's a beautiful, beautiful love story. It's very serious, much more serious than Just for the Summer. But there are still some laugh out loud funny moments. There's still this theme of animals and loving animals, which is great. There's some great pets in this. Do read the trigger warnings on this if that's something that concerns you. There's trigger warning for Alzheimer's, which is depicted really, really starkly in this book. I think really well done, but it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. But yeah, loved it, absolutely loved it. Also loved Vera Wong. I've only read 2 books this month. I don't know how many because I haven't gone to England yet. I don't know how many I will be reading. But the 2 I read have been glorious. And that is my check-in for right now. And hopefully I'll check in again. Hopefully I'll read more books. I have started multiples. I mean, I definitely will read the 2 for my book club. I've started both of them, have not finished either of them, but I'll finish those at least. So I will see you soon. Bye for now. I have just been recording some other videos and thought that I would catch you up very quickly on what I have read. So I have read, last time I checked in, I'd only read 2 books. I have read 4 more. I have read Glorious Exploits, and I wish I hadn't spent so much time with it. It took me such a long time to get into this. I kept wanting to DNF it. I kept thinking, people say it's funny, people say it's insightful, people who I really, respect have personally recommended this book to me. People claimed it as, a favorite read of the year. Katie from Books and Things absolutely loved it. People who I really trust and regard their reading taste highly love this book. I did not love this book. This book did not work for me. It felt cruel. It felt harsh. It felt curt. Yeah, I just didn't like it. And I did read it to the end because so many people had told me over and over again, oh, it's funny. And, it's got a lot of insight. No, it did not work for me. Did not work for me. Would have been a DNF, but that I read to the end. And I wish I spent so much time with it. And I wish that I hadn't. I also read, very quickly, Will Prescribe You a Cat by Seiyu Ishida. This was one of our Books Love Everyone book group reads, so I won't tell you what I thought about it now because we need to have our discussion on Zoom, and then I need to pull everybody's thoughts together, and then I'll have a dedicated video for this one, as well as the nonfiction choice for the month, which, as you can see, has a lot of tabs from me. This was not a clear win for me, though, either. But this is H is for Hawk by Helen McDonald. I have lots to say about this one. I won't, though. I'll refrain right now. It'll be part of the dedicated video. And I also want to talk to people about it before I talk to you about it. So, yeah, I finished this one. And I finished my 12 in 12, which has a couple of tabs, but not many. I finished my 12 in 12. This was The Prayer Box by Lisa Wingate. So if this is your first time coming here, for the past 3 years, this is my 3rd year doing it, I've asked in real life friends to recommend for me a book that is a favorite of theirs, or one that they think that I will particularly enjoy. And my sister came up for the month of April, and she has been wanting to get me to read this for quite some time. I've wanted to read it, but I just haven't. When it became the April pick for 12 and 12, I was like, okay, I got to do it. Now, I have had 5-star reads for all of the recommendations so far this year. Like, they are on my stack over there of favorite reads of the year. A couple of them are contenders for favorite read of the year. And happy to say that this story is also a 5-star read for me. It is by no means a perfect book. It was very slow. It took me about 125 pages to really get invested. It was incredibly slow, and it has a lot going on. It's telling a lot of different stories. What really drew me in was A, it's about an old house. B, it is about like a redemption story. The main character has a huge growth arc, and you watch her grow in this book. You watch her grow as a human, as a mother, as a woman, as a community member. And there was also this like dual timeline kind of element, because you are watching her watch the story of a woman who lived in the same house before her. Knowing and learning that woman's story really helps Tandy, is that her name? Yes, really helps Tandy grasp control over how she tells her own story to herself and others. So it helps her gain control over her life and kind of run her own narrative rather than allowing the narrative to run her. Allowing all the other stories that other people have told her about who she is, what she's worth, where her value lies, kind of silencing all of that in order to hear her own voice and to follow her own heart and set up her own belief system about herself. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed all of that. Again, it's pretty slow moving. I think, though, that with all the things that are going on and all the characters that are in this book, it was helpful to have such a slow pace because it really, like, I never once felt confused about what was going on, even though there's, quite a lot of mirroring stuff and overlapping characters and quick changing of perspectives. They use a lot of italics in this book, which is not my favorite thing. But it was good. It's well done. And I really, really loved the end. I loved how a house and stories help a woman save herself. And it's overall feel good. And I had a good time with it after about the first 100 pages. I didn't have a bad time with the first 100 pages. It was just really hard to keep my attention focused on it. So that's a squeak toy. I have read 2 books that took me an inordinate amount of time to finish. And I have read 4 books this month, which have been super, super fast. This one, not exactly fast, but I wasn't ever bored with it. She's just really long-winded and talks about a lot of different things. I'll explain in the dedicated video. But yeah, some books just read fast and some books just read slow, and that's the way it is. I think that I will finish several more books before I end up posting this wrap up. So look out for those. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say for right now. I'll see you in a minute. We had a bit of a celebration, and now my room is covered in balloons and they all have to go away before class starts. Did you give it a hide? Did you hide something in the couch? It's not looking like it normally does. Did you hide something in the couch? Is there something in there? Where is it, Lowe's? Where is it? Where is it? Did you hide something in there? Can I look? Can I have a look? Because it's just not looking like it normally looks over here. Oh no! There it is. Oh no! What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh, you gonna eat it now? Okay. am quickly checking in because I finished The Passion Project by London Sperry. This was tabbable at parts, incredibly sweet for most of it. Really, really loved Henry, I think his name is. Yes, Henry Adams. Really loved Henry as the love interest. He is doing something a little sneaky, but for a good cause. But that doesn't come across at all until it's revealed. What you really feel is like this genuine, heartfelt guy who's just really kind and good and loves people and is patient. And then you get to the third act breakup where he is none of those things and it doesn't feel right. So I absolutely loved it, except for about 20 pages of it, in which in order to stick with formula, the author abandoned character, and it was not the right payoff. It really did not work for me. But then, quickly reverts because of formula, quickly reverts back to who he was always. And while that's reassuring to me as a reader, it was very annoying to me as a reader that the author would choose formula over character. She just wasn't true to the character that she had created, so painstakingly created, with a feel of effortlessness. And it was really, really masterful writing until that point. And then another thing that really annoyed me near the end is, what's her name? What's our main? Bennett Taylor. She's our main female love interest. So one of the things that I teach my students, and I have always taught my students, 11th grade and younger, is that when you see rain, when you see a character go into a shower or water or dive into something or something splashes down upon them, be that water or lava or something else, when they come out of it, they are changed in some way. This is a literary baptism. You go in as one thing and you come out as another. Whenever you watch something, whenever you read something, whenever you hear a song that includes this, it's almost always, 99.9% of the time, it is a baptism. Every literature student knows this. Every literature student is taught this at some point. Every writer knows this. And lots of them use it to some effect, if they're from the West. This may not be the same in Eastern culture, but in Western culture, that is what this is. And there is a moment in this book where it is so blatant, so blatantly used, that the author might as well have just said, and here our character undergoes a change. It was just clunky. Now, I will say that this is London Sperry's first novel. This is her debut. And for a debut, it is really, really solid. I think I'm being so critical of these two things because it was so solid and it had my heart so, so deeply and strongly. It is mainly about a young woman who is living with her dead first love's sister in New York. And she's not gotten over this loss of her true love. And she's kind of meh. She has no strong emotion, no passion, no interest. She's just kind of living life. She doesn't even really have like a real job. I mean, she works, but she doesn't have a commitment to anything. Even her job is working for a temp agency. And so she is supposed to go on this blind date with this person. She goes, but doesn't go to the date. And eventually they end up meeting anyway through a series of events. He's very committed to seeing this through. and he's a nice guy, and they become friends. He challenges her to go on a bunch of non-dates with him each weekend to try out something that she's been interested in all her life, trying to decide what her passion is, to like exposure therapy kind of. And they do all sorts of things like tattoo melons and attend a business class, just all sorts of things. Through this, of course, they fall in love, and she's still dealing with her grief, and he's got stuff he's dealing with too, right? So it's a great premise. It's a fun premise. It's a not really believable premise until you know a few other moving components that you learn later on. But it's very enjoyable. There's some great banter. There's some laugh out loud funny moments. There's some beautiful descriptions of New York. And I don't even like books about New York all that much, but there's some beautiful descriptions of New York. There's a really great interaction she has describing the New York Library that actually made it into my commonplace books. So you'll hear it if you watch my Good News for April. And there was so much about it that I loved that when it went a different direction, it kind of broke my heart a little bit. I was so invested and I was so safe in these characters. She had done such a good job of creating them and fleshing them out and keeping them consistent, even through growth and error, that when the third act breakup comes and he's so drastically not who you anticipate he will be, not who you expect him to be, not who he has always been, it's not right. It doesn't feel believable. It just feels really jarring and confusing, and you just want to get past it. And I really felt like, again, I'm going to say it again, I felt like whether she wanted to, whether London Speary wanted to, or she was made to by an editor, chose form over the integrity of her character. And that feels like a betrayal to me. Maybe I'm being too dramatic. Me? Dramatic? Never. But it definitely felt like wrong. It felt wrong. So I am going to give this, where I rate things, I'm going to give this quite a high rating because I'm considering that I'm taking into consideration that it is her first novel. And it got such a rise out of me because I was enjoying it so incredibly much. So there's definitely something to this woman's writing, and I will definitely read more by this author. And I'm hopeful that in the future she can do better. Do better. Okay, I have a bunch of other books that I am reading at this time. I'm going to scooch you this direction so you can have a look. I'm not in the middle of all of these, but I am reading Enchantra, and I am hoping to finish that via audio on an airplane. And I am reading The Assassin's Apprentice and ditto on that. I haven't started The Crystal Cave, A Great Big Beautiful Life, Sister Sinner yet, but I really want to, but I probably will have to wait till May for those. And then I am reading The Eights, but I'm not going to endeavor to finish that one. I'll finish that in May. So I am trying to decide in this moment, I am trying to decide, do I end this wrap up here early and post it while I am traveling, or do I continue to update and try to post while I'm traveling or after I return from traveling? I don't think so. I think I'm going to post this here. Know that it's ending it's ending before the month is ending, and it's ending before my April reading is ending. But a couple of my April reads you'll hear about in another video. I'm going to do a dedicated UK travel video. I don't know how successful I will be because I will have students with me and I can't put them, of course, in the video in any way. Maybe photographs with their faces blacked out, but other than that, I can't have video of them. So I don't know how often I will be alone to be able to film fun things. But I will definitely do check-ins and talk about my reading while I am traveling. I do have, it's like 10 hours, a little less than 10 hours there and back in the air. And I know that I will be doing just so much reading during that time. So a little bit of sleeping too, but definitely reading. Let me just tell you right now, Enchantra, it is not Phantasma. I will tell you that. Enchantra is the sequel to Phantasma, and I have been looking forward to the sequel to Phantasma since I finished Phantasma, and it's really disappointing me. I don't know if it's me or if it's the book. I don't know if it's my mood or if it is actually just really different and not the same in any way, shape, or form. But like lacking all the things I loved about Phantasma. It might just be me. I don't know. We'll see. But I think I am going to end this here and continue on in another video in another place and time and let you know the rest of what I read in April in another video. So that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Until then, let's go read.